press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Today we shall learn about the history part, the chapter number 3, that is in the earliest cities. Okay, today we shall discuss about the chapter number 3, that is in the earliest cities. In the earliest cities. In the earliest cities. Let us learn about which was the earliest cities where the archaeologists found these cities and how. Let us discuss about this. Okay, a great urban civilization which was flourished about 4,500 years ago. This is known as the Harappan Civilization or the Indus Valley Civilization. Okay. In that place we found one of the earliest cities. You already know about that, isn't it? Which was that earliest city the archaeologists found in subcontinent? That is Harappa. Yes. Let us learn about the story of Harappa. Harappa was one of the earliest city which is found in subcontinent. Okay, some of the old buildings tell the story about this Harappan city. Okay, let us learn how this Harappan city founded by the archaeologists. Okay, nearly 150 years ago. Nearly 150 years ago. Nearly 150 years ago, what happened? You know, railway lines were being laid down. Railway lines were being laid down for the first time in the Punjab. The railway lines were being laid down for the first time in the Punjab. In Punjab, the engineers were constructing the railway line, especially in the Punjab. Okay, on that time the engineers stumbled upon the site of Harappa. On that time, by chance, stumbled means by chance, the engineers stumbled upon the site of Harappa. Where is the Harappa site? Nowadays it is in Pakistan. The Harappa is in Pakistan. Now it is not in India, that is in Pakistan. Okay, this was the site. This was by chance seemed by the engineers who laid down the railway line, especially at first time in the Punjab. So then they seemed a mound. They seemed the mound. That mound was a rich resources of the ready-made and high-quality bricks. Those mound, it looks like a mound. Okay, this mound have the rich qualities, higher and more. These mounds were these mound have the ready-made and high quality bricks. Okay, so these engineers, they used that bricks for the construction of the railway line. As a result, they used the thousands of bricks from the wall of the old buildings. As a result, some buildings are collapsed or destroyed. Okay, in this way, the first time at Punjab, the engineers, when they built the railway constructions, they stumbled this city, and also they used the bricks of this old city. They used that bricks to build a railway line or railway constructions. Okay, in this way, the many buildings were destroyed by these engineers. Okay, later means about 80 years ago. Later, 80 years ago, the archaeologists found a site site in Harappa. They realized, they understood this was the one of the oldest city of the subcontinent. They understood this was the one of the oldest city in the subcontinent, and also it was the first city they discovered here. Now tell me, which was the first city discovered by the archaeologist? Yes, that is the Harappa. The Harappa was the first city discovered by the archaeologist in the subcontinent. Okay. The other sites, later they found other sites, they were also similar to the Harappa city. Okay. So as a result, it was described. This civilization was described by the Harappan civilization by the archaeologists. Okay. So let us learn what are the special features or characteristics of these cities. Let us learn what are the special characters of these cities. Let us learn about that. Okay. The special characteristics are the features of the Harappan cities. Okay. Next, write down the heading. What was special about these cities? What was special? What was special about these cities? About these cities. What was the special characteristics these cities have? Okay. Many of these cities were divided into 2 or more parts. The cities of Harappas were divided into 2 or more parts. Okay, especially the western part and the eastern parts. Okay, here the western parts. The city is divided into 2 or more parts. Here the western parts. Here is the western parts. These eastern parts is smaller. Western part is small and higher. The western part of the city is smaller and higher. It is high place. Okay. So, and also it is the archaeologist described it is a citadel. Citadel means it is protected by the fortress. It is protected by the fortress, means this place was surrounded by the fort. This place, the western part of the city is surrounded by the forts. It is protected by the forts. Okay, this was the western part of the city. The another part is there, that is eastern part. The eastern part, when we compare to the eastern part, eastern part to the western part, the eastern part is larger and also lower. It is larger and lower place. Larger and lower. Okay, the western part it is smaller and higher. Smaller place, and also it is a high place. High, when we compare to the eastern part, it is very high and it is a small place. And also this place is protected by the fortress. Okay, which means the rich persons perhaps the rich persons were living in this western part. Common peoples, perhaps the common peoples, they lived in the lower in this eastern part. Okay, and also the archaeologists and also the cities have many buildings. These cities have the many buildings. Those buildings were built by the bricks. The wall of the buildings and also many buildings were built by the baked bricks. They used the baked bricks to build the walls. Baked bricks. They used for the constructions of these buildings or walls, they used the baked bricks here. Okay, I already told, when the railway construction was laid down by the engineers on that time, they used these bricks. They used these bricks for the construction of the railway line. As a result, many buildings were destroyed, isn't it? Yes, these peoples used to build the walls, they used the baked bricks. Okay. And also these bricks were so well baked. These bricks were so well baked that they have lasted for thousands years also. They were not broke down. They are not broken even the 1,000 years. They were not destroyed even the 1,000 years. Means the bricks were well baked. They well baked the bricks. As a result, they are strong. These bricks are very strong. Even though after the thousands of years, they were not destroyed or divided. Okay, so they used baked bricks to build the walls. Okay, and also when they are using these bricks, they laid the bricks. They laid the bricks as a interlocking pattern. When they built the walls, on that time they used these bricks as the interlocking pattern. Interlocking pattern means like this, in this way. In this way, the interlocking pattern they were used. Okay, this interlocking pattern made the walls very, very strong. When they used the baked bricks, they used these baked bricks as the interlocking system. So, okay, this interlocking system made the walls very, very strong. Okay, in this way, to build the walls of the buildings, they used the bricks and also the interlocking system. Okay. And also we can found, not only we found only one or two buildings here, and we also found, or we can also observe some of the special buildings in some places. We also found some special buildings. Let us learn about that. Which are the special buildings we found here? What was the importance of those buildings? Okay, let us learn about that. Okay, one of the important or special building we can observe in the Mohenjo-daro. In Mohenjo-daro, we can see the special tank. The special tank we can see in the Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro was also one of the important site of this civilization. That is, in Mohenjo-daro, we can observe, in Mohenjo-daro we can see the special tank. Special tank is there. The special tank is there in the Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Harappa, Lothal, these are all some of the important cities of the Harappan civilization. Okay, Harappa is also one of the city. This civilization have many more cities. Among them, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Lothal, these are some of the important cities. Okay, here means in Mohenjo-daro. In Mohenjo-daro, the archaeologists found one of the special building, that is the special tank. We found the special tank in Mohenjo-daro. Okay, so this special tank, the archaeologist called, this is the Great Bath. This is the Great Bath. This special tank was called as Great Bath. Great Bath of this civilization. Okay. So this was lined with bricks. how they constructed this special tank or great bath. How they constructed, let us learn about that. Okay, this great bath was constructed by the bricks. This great bath was also constructed by the bricks, and also this was lined by the bricks. They used the bricks as a line. The buildings was constructed by the this building was constructed by the lined with bricks. Okay, and also it is coated with plaster. This great bath was coated with a plaster, and also they made the water tight with the layer of natural tar. They used the natural tar for tighten the water. For that purpose they used the natural tar here. And also this great bath have the steps in two sides. Both two sides it has the steps. Means the steps were leading it. Okay, and also the rooms were all in all sides of this great bath. We can observe the rooms all around this bath, great bath. So water was probably brought in from a well. We can also observe the well aside this great bath. Here is the well aside this great bath. Probably the water is supplied from that well. Okay. Next, and also the drained water means the drained out after use. There is a way to drain out the water. Drain it out after use. The water drained out after the use. This was the system they adopted in this great bath. The great bath was also one of the important or special buildings. So, for what purpose they used this great bath? What purpose they used this great bath? Perhaps these great bath was used to important people. It was used to important people to dip in his tank on special occasions. Some of the important peoples, they took bath. They took a small bath in this tank when on special occasions were held. When the special occasions were held, on that time some of the important peoples, they took bath here. For that purpose they may use this great bath. Okay, we can observe, we can found this great bath in Mohenjo-daro. Next, the other cities were also have the special buildings. Let us learn about especially the Kalibangan and Lothal. Especially in the Kalibangan and Lothal. We can see the Kalibangan in Kalibangan and Lothal. Kalibangan and Lothal. In these cities, we can observe the fire altars. What do you mean by fire altars? The archaeologists found the fire altars, especially in two places. Those were Kalibangan and Lothal. Kalibangan and Lothal, we found fire altars. Fire altars means place of offerings. Place of offerings was called as fire altars, where the sacrifices may have been performed. The sacrifices may have been performed in these places. For that purpose they used the fire altars, especially in the Kalibangan and Lothal. Okay, and also we can observe, we can found some storehouses here. Some storehouses we can found in some places, where we found some storehouses. Let us learn about that. in especially Mohenjo-daro, here is the Mohenjo-daro. In Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Lothal. Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Lothal. In these three places we can find the storehouses. Storehouses were found. Storehouses were found especially in the Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Lothal. What purpose they built the storehouses here? Because to store the grains, to store the food crops. They used the storehouses in these sites or in these cities. Okay, these are the some of the important buildings we found in the Harappa. Next, we learn about how they built the houses and drains and street. What was the system they used here? How they built the houses? How are the houses, drains and streets of these cities? Let us learn about that. Okay, write down the next heading: houses, drains and streets. Houses, drains and streets of Harappa. Houses, drains and streets. Houses, drains and streets of the Harappan civilization. Let us learn about that. Okay, the houses which were built in these cities, those are 1 or 2 stories high. Those are 1 or 2 stories high. And also they built many rooms. Those were they built rooms around the courtyard. These houses either 1 or 2 stories high. And also they built many rooms here. Okay, especially they built the rooms. The rooms were built around the courtyard. Courtyard means the ground before the house. The ground before the house. This is known as courtyard, isn't it? So the rooms were built around the courtyard. Understood the situation? They built many houses here. Those houses either 1 or 2 stories high. Okay, and also they built many rooms here. Especially the rooms were built around the courtyard. Okay, the most of the houses have the separate bathing area, means separate bathroom. They have the separate bathroom. Nowadays how we have the separate bathroom now? In the same way, they already on that time they have the separate bathroom. And also they have the wells. They have the wells to supply the water for the users of the peoples, isn't it? They have the separate bathing system, means they have the separate bathroom, and also they have the wells. Means every houses has the wells and separate bathroom. Means they gave more importance to the cleanliness. Okay. So, and also they used covered drainage system. They made covered drainage system. We can observe the covered drainage system here. Okay, these cities had covered drains. Covered drains means they have the covered drainage system. Okay. Carefully, these were laid out in the straight lines. How is the drainage? How were the drains? The drains were straight. There is no curve. These drains were very straight. They carefully made or they carefully laid out the straight lines of the drains. Okay, and also we can't see these drains outside. We can't see We can't observe the drains outside. And also each drains have the gentle slope. Each drains has the gentle slope. Why did they have the gentle slope? The water can move. The water can flow easily through one place to another place. For that purpose, the drains have the gentle slope. Gentle slope. Okay. And also the houses have the drains. The drains of the houses connected to the street drains. The drains in houses were connected to the street drains. Small or street drains. Okay. And later these small street drains connected to the bigger ones. This was the system here. Understood the situation? Each houses have the drainage system here. Each houses have the drainage system. These drainage of these houses connected to the street drainage. See here, observe here. The drains of the houses connected to the small drains of that area, that road or that street. Okay, this is small drains. Okay, later these small drains connected to the larger one. Here is the larger drains. This is connected, and also they were very straight. In this way, they have this type of drainage system. The house have the drains. The drains of the house connected to the street drains. Street drains are small drains. Later, these small drains connected to the big drains. Okay. And also these drains were covered. These drains were covered means they have the underground drainage system. They have the underground drainage system. We can't see these drains out of the side. Okay, outside. We can't see these drains outside. Okay. And also these drains have the inception hole. These drains have the inception hole. These drains, each drains have the inception holes. Each drains have the inception holes. For inception holes were provided to these drains at intervals to clean them. Why did they have the inception holes? At intervals to clean these drains. For that purpose, each drains have the inception holes. So we can observe, when we observe these houses and the drainage system, so here they well planned. The three were well planned here, well planned and built at the same time. Those are houses, drains and trees. Houses, drains and streets were well planned and also built at the same time. As a result, they have the good houses and also drainage system and also the very good and also straight streets they have. Okay, it is well planned and after they built these cities. Okay, next we learn how was the life of the city. Next we learn how the city life. Okay, let us learn about that life in the city. Next, life in the city. How they led the city life. Let us learn about that. Life in the city. Life in the city. Okay, the Harappa was the main city. It was not only one of the important city and also it is a very busy city, very busy place. Harappa is one of the important city. Not only it is important city, and also it is a very busy place or very busy city. Okay. The people, there were people who planned the construction of special buildings in this city. Here, when we observe the buildings of these cities, they are well planned. First they planned and later they built the buildings. When we observe these buildings, the construction of these special buildings, there were probably rulers. There may be probably rulers. The rulers, there may be rulers. They planned. At first they planned and they built the buildings. When we observe the buildings, this type of thinking comes in the minds of the everybody or archaeologists. Okay. So these rulers sent the people to the distant lands. These rulers sent the people to the distant lands. For what purpose they sent the people to the distant land? To get metal, precious stones and other things. These rulers, who ruled in these cities, these rulers sent the people's distant land. These rulers sent the people distant land. For what purpose? They sent the peoples to the distant land to get metals. To get metals. To get metals. To get metals, precious stones, precious stones and other things, They want these things. For that purpose, they sent the people to the distant land. Okay, and they may have kept the most valuable objects. They may have kept the most valuable objects, such as in the ornaments of gold and silver. They sent the people to get the metal, precious stones and other things. What purpose they used these things? They may use these metals, precious stones and other things in the ornaments of the gold and silver, and also the beautiful beads. Okay, and in this way they used these precious stones, metals and other things to make the ornaments of gold and silver. And also we can observe the scribers here. We can observe the scribers in Harappa. Scribers. What do you mean by scribers? We can also observe the scribers were there. Scribers. Scribers means the person who can write. The person who can write, he was known as scribes. Means the Harappan peoples know the writing. They know the how to write. So we can observe some scribes were working here. How can we come to this decision? So we can also observe some seals here. Some seals. The archaeologists found many seals in this region. Seals. The archaeologists found many seals in these areas or in this region. And also these seals shows us there may be some scribers. Okay, they prepare these seals on the stone. They prepare the seals from the stones or other materials. Okay, so the other materials have not survived. Nowadays we not found the other materials, only we can found the seals which were sealed on the stones. Okay, so these seals shows us there may be scribers. They know the writing skills. Okay, and they know the reading and writing. They may know the reading and writing. The seals shows about that. Okay, here some of the things we found here, that shows us there may be some craft persons. The craft persons were working here. So there were men and women were the craft persons. We did not know perfectly. The men are the craft persons or the women are the craft persons. They may. Perhaps there were men and women were the craft persons. They making all kinds of things. They making all kinds of things in our own houses or either in their own homes or in special workshops. Here we can observe, we can found some of the important things, some of the craft things here. They may be making by the men's and the women's. Okay, they making these kinds of things in their own homes or in the special workshops. Okay, the peoples were traveling to distant land for the raw materials. The people traveled the distant lands for the raw materials, and they bring the raw materials from the distant places later. They used that materials in their crafting to made some special things here. Okay, and also they prepared they made some of the terracotta toys. They made terracotta toys. Terracotta toys means the toys which are used to play the children. So so many terracotta toys we can found in these regions. They were all, when we observe these terracotta toys, they were prepared or they were made by some of the craftsmen. Okay, these terracotta toys were made for the children purpose. These were the toys. They were the toys. They made these toys to play the children. Okay, so and also we can in this way these cities have so many craftsmen. Let us learn what were the new crafts in the city. Let us learn about the new crafts in the city. New crafts in the city. New crafts in the city. We can observe some of the objects were made and found in the Harappa cities. We can observe some of the objects were made and found in the Harappan cities. Most of the things they made. Most of the things we can observe. We can observe some of the objects made and used by the Harappans. Some of the objects were made and used by the Harappan cities. The most of the things are made by the stones. The things were made by stones. Made by stones. Made by the stones. Made by the stones, shells and metals. Understood? We can observe some of the objects were made and found in the Harappan cities. Some of the important objects were made, used and also found in the Harappan cities. Those things were made by the stones, shells and also the metals. Metals means which are the metals they used to make these things, especially the metals of copper, bronze. Especially they used the metals of copper, bronze, gold, silver gold and silver. These are the some of the metals they used to prepare some of the special things or objects. Okay, so from the copper and bronze, they used these copper and bronze to make tools, weapons, ornaments, vessels. What purpose they used the copper and bronze? Copper and bronze are used to make tools, weapons, ornaments and vessels. These copper and bronze were used to make tools, weapons, ornaments and vessels. Okay, and also they used the gold and silver. They used the gold and silver to prepare or to make ornaments and vessels. To make ornaments and vessels, they used the gold and silver. Nowadays, how we are using gold and silver for the ornament, isn't it? In the same way, they are also used the gold and silver to make ornaments and also for to make vessels. Okay, in your textbook, page number 28, they are given some picture of the ornaments of which were made and used by these people. Observe this. I will show it. Page number 28. You can observe the picture of some ornaments here. Can you observe these pictures? Yes, these pictures. Here is some ornaments. These ornaments were made and used by the Harappans. Okay, and also they made here is one of the picture. This is stone weights. Stone weights were also made and used by the Harappan peoples, and also here is the ornaments. Ornaments were also made and used by these peoples. Here is the blades. Here is some of the important blades. This is also used and made by the Harappan people. Okay, in this way, the wonderful things we can found here. The archaeologists found some of the wonderful things here. The archaeologists found some of the wonderful things in Harappan civilization. Those were beads, weights and blades. Beads, weights. Some of the important and wonderful things we can found in this Harappan place. Those are beads. Those were beads, weights and blades. Weights and blades. These are some of the wonderful things we found in the Harappan place. Okay. The Harappan also made seals out of the stones. The Harappan also made the seals. I already told, isn't it? They made many seals here. So they made these seals from the stones. The Harappan made the seals from the stones. Okay, these seals were generally rectangular. The Harappan made the seals from the stones. These seals were especially rectangular shape, and also many animals pictures they carved on them. Many animals picture we can observe. When we observe these seals, we can observe the animal pictures are there on that seals. Okay, so in this way the Harappan made several seals. We can found that's even though now also we can found these seals in those places. In Harappan places they made several seals from the stones. From the stones they made the seals. Okay, these seals were rectangular shape. Those were rectangular shape, And also they have an animal pictures. The animals pictures carved on them. We can observe the animals pictures on those seals. Okay. Next. They also know about the cloths. They also know about the cloths. And also they prepared the cloths by the cotton. You already know the cotton was already grown at Mehergarh from about 7,000 years ago. Already cotton was grown at Mehergarh. The cotton was already grown at Mehergarh about 7,000 years ago. The actual pieces of cloth we found in these areas. The actual pieces of cloths found attached to the lid of a silver vase. It is that cloth pieces was attached to the lid of a silver vase and some copper object at Mohenjo-daro. The archaeologist found the piece of cloth at Mohenjo-daro. How is it? The actual pieces of cloth were found attached to the lid of silver vase. It is attached to the lid of silver vase and some copper objects at archaeologists. Okay. Also the archaeologist found spindle walrus here. That is made by terracotta and faience. Those were made of terracotta and faience. These were used to spin thread. Okay, we shall stop here. We shall continue the next class. Okay, thank you.